Hi everyone, Ashish this side. Welcome to Geeks for Geeks. Today we are going to start with a new series that is coming for 4 weeks every Wednesday and Saturday at 4 p.m. And the series is called as Data Analysis in Speedrun. This week we are giving to Excel, means today's session as the session of Saturday. Upcoming week we are going to discuss about SQL. Then the week next to that we are going to discuss about Python, and the last week, which is week 4, we are going to dedicate totally to data analysis with Python. Okay, so stay tuned for all the session. Subscribe to the channel so that you will be notified for all these sessions. And this playlist of 4 weeks that we are having of data analysis in hurry is coming under the challenge that we are currently running. And you can see this challenge clearly here as well from the web page. This challenge is called as 390 challenge. This is very special and one of its kind challenge that we are coming up right now. And in this particular challenge, we are basically giving our course, and for 390 means you need to complete 90% of the course in 90 days and you will get 90% refund, no question asked. That's it. You will get the amount in your bank, right? So this is the challenge that we are coming up, so that student will learn, student will keep track of all the things and they will be habitual with the course, right? So this is the challenge that is currently going on. Starting this challenge is 1st of January to last of January. So all the students who are registering in the courses, in the list of the courses right now in this particular duration, in the upcoming 90 days, you need to complete 90% of that specific course and you will get 90% of the money back. No question asked. So without further ado, let's start with today's session. So today's session is specifically on Excel. So Excel is one of the most widely used tool for data analysis, right? We are having SQL, we are having Tableau, Power BI, we are having Python as well. We are also having R, but Excel is very widely used because it's really user friendly. You don't need to install any specific software. You don't need to know coding. You can do all the things on that tool only, directly on Excel. So Excel for enterprise, it's paid, but for the students ID, you can directly register through your student ID and you will get Excel for free of cost with the student ID for sure, right? So in this session, we are going to discuss about Excel. So let's start with the Excel. So for that purpose, you need to search for Microsoft Excel. Make sure you are having the updated version, and this is how the interface looks. Okay. So once you are having that interface, so here you can see you are getting a lot of options to choose with. You can go with a blank workbook. You can make a list, to-do list. There are a lot of templates already available. I am going with a blank template so that I can give you an overview, right? How Excel looks. So here you can see this is the Excel. This is how Excel looks. So here you can see we are having sheets. So here you can see this is sheet number 1. You can zoom a little bit and you can zoom out. Here you can add multiple sheets and you can also delete the sheet. You can have multiple sheets, as many sheets as you want in Excel, right? And here you can even rename the sheet. There are a lot of functionalities we are having to deal with it. Okay, here you can write the text, and a lot of few people already have done some work on Excel as well, right? And after that, here you can see we are having different tabs in that. For example, we are having home tab where we are having basic functionality. We are having insert tab where we can insert specific things in this. You can add pictures, you can add images, you can add icon and a lot of things. And you can even make data visualization here. Okay, you can draw different stuff. We are having the page layout, so you can change the orientation of the things. We are having different formulas you can add, for example, so you can like find the sum, average, count, min, max. These are the functionalities you are having. You can even import data from different data source, right? And here we are having view and automate. There are a lot of stuff we are having. We are going to discuss it as we proceed further, but this is how the portal looks. This is how the interface of this thing looks. Okay, so we are going to divide the session into multiple parts. Okay, the first part we are going to start with the interface, and that's something we have discussed as well. So here we are having multiple rows. Every row is having a number associated with it that you can see from here. So this is row number 1, 2, 3 and up to here. You can press command and arrow down, it will take you to the end. So here you can see on this particular sheet we are having 1 million. Yes, it's having 1.048 million rows, right? And similarly the columns are denoted with ABC, right? So here you can go to towards the end. So if you start going toward the end, so starting from A going up to Z, and then it will start with A, B, A, C, and so on, right? So these are the rows we are having, these are the columns we are having, and every cell, this particular block is a cell, this is another cell. Every block is called as a cell. Okay, in the cell we are saving any kind of data we are having. Okay, and every cell is having an address. Okay, for example, if I am passing here you can see if I am passing Ashish, here I'm writing Jangda, here I am writing Ankur, here I am writing Gupta, and here I'm passing, let's suppose, the age as well, like 25, 27. Okay, so here you can see if I'm talking about this particular cell, so this cell is of row second, column B. So this is B2, right? First of all, we are going to write the column, then we are going to write the row. And here you can also see the cell name, which is B2. Okay, this is C2, this is D2, this is B3, C3, and D3. Okay, that's how cell works. And here you can even change. For example, if I'm writing D5, D35, so it will automatically take you to D35. Okay, so this is a little bit about the rows and columns and cells. Okay, similarly we are having the functionalities to bold the text, to italic it, to underline it, right? And you can even add the borders on the cell. As you can see, if you want to add the borders, you can add the borders as well. You can change the background if you want to. You can change the text color if you want to. So these are all the functionalities you are having in Excel. There's something very basic, you already know that as well. Okay, now we are going to discuss about what are the different types of data we are having in Excel. So there are a lot of different types of data we are having. Now basically two, three very important data types we are having is text, like this one, and the numbers, which are this one, and the next to that is also dates we are having. For example, if I'm writing 12/10, so here you can see it automatically detects at 12 of October, right? We are just writing 12 by 10, it might be a number, but here it automatically take it as the dates. So this is another type of data we are having. All the text that we are writing is aligned inside the cell towards the left. As you can see here, all the numbers that you are writing in a cell automatically aligns towards the right. Okay, that's how you can check the type of the data as well. Okay, now what we are going to do, we are going to write a couple of formulas here. Okay, and before that, let's discuss about, let's suppose if I'm writing 1 2 3 here. Okay, 1 2 here, if I'm selecting them, dragging them and stretching with like exactly clicking on this particular arrow, so here you can see it will stretch all the numbers automatically. So initially I was having 1 and 2, and if I am selecting this and stretching it, it will automatically detect first number is 1, second is 2, so third number will be 3 4 5, and so on. And so this is how it's being done. I can even select this one, and what if I am writing 1 3, and for example if I am having 1, and if I am having 1 and 3 after that, now if I'm selecting and stretching them, the next number would be 5 and 7, because it knows the pattern that it is repeating. So this is how it's being done. What if I'm writing 1 and 1, selecting it, stretching them, it will take 1 and 1, because those are the same numbers we are having. So this is how the number application can be done by just selecting and dropping. Okay, what if I'm selecting all of them? Can we do it like row wise? Yes, we can do that as well. 1 2 3, if I'm selecting it row wise, it will be same number. 3 to 1, if I'm selecting it row wise, it would be negative numbers start going down. For example, first of all it was 2 3 1, and then it will repeat the pattern accordingly, because in this particular case it is not able to find any specific pattern. But what if I'm taking like 1 2, and now if I'm selecting and dropping them, this is 1 2 3 4, right? And similarly if I'm writing 1 3, and now if I'm selecting and dropping them, this is the same case. So similarly 1 and 10, so the next number would be 1937. So this is how the replication part can be done. What about the text? If you are having any text, what will happen? For example, if I'm taking A and B, now if I'm selecting them, so it is going to repeat the pattern, because for text recognizing the pattern is a bit difficult. So that's why it is just repeating the pattern. Similarly, if I'm writing A and A again, if I'm selecting it, dragging and dropping them, and then it is going to return you the same values. Okay, now next thing is, What if I want to perform some operation on this? For example, these are all the numbers we are having. If I want to find the sum of all the numbers here. So to find the sum of all the numbers, I'm going to write is equals to sum. So there are some formulas here. Okay, this is how it should be written. Is equals to means I am initializing a formula. Okay, is equals to sum means I want to initialize the sum formula. There are some fixed set of formulas already given in the on the Excel. So that's why we can directly use those formulas. For example, if I'm taking is equals to sum, and here I am passing number 1. For example, if I'm passing number 1, comma, number 2, comma, number 3, closing it, enter. So here you can see the number is 6. And here you can see exactly is equals to 1, 2, 3. This is the formula that we have written, and this is the answer that we have got. 1 plus 2 plus 3. So whatever number I am passing within sum, it is going to add all of them. Very simple, right? Now, the next thing is, once we are having this, so I can pass the numbers for sure. What if I want to find the sum of all of these numbers? So for this particular use case, I need to use the reference of cells, right? So here you can see which cell I want to start with. I want to start with B6. So here I am going to write B6. And here you can see at the moment to write B6, the cell is automatically selected. If I'm writing C6, which is the second cell, comma D6, comma E6, and then we are having F6, and then we are having G6, and then we are having H6 and I6. So the moment I press enter, you can see this is adding all of the numbers one by one. Okay, here I can do this. One more thing I can do, and that is I can directly go with equals to sum of where I want to start. I want to start from B6, right? I want to go till I6. So I can write a colon and I6. So it will select all the cells automatically. Now if I click enter, here you can see it is giving you the same result. Okay. One more way of dealing with the thing is you can just directly go with this. So the moment you write is equals to sum, here you are having an option to select it. So the moment I click on this and then I select it with a shift for sure, and the moment I press enter, that's the sum that we are getting. Okay, we don't even need to manually write it. Okay, in the exact same way we are having an option. So this is for sum. Similarly, you can go for AVG for average if you want to find the mean. So in that particular case, what you can do is you can write is equals to average, and the moment you are writing average, it's automatically there. You can select starting from this till this particular number. I need to find the average. So bracket close, enter. So the average is 4.5. Similarly, you can go with the max. How to find the maximum? So for max, you are going to write is equals to max, and here you are having an option. Either if you want to write it everything in capital letters or everything in small letters, you can go with that as well. So select it. So the maximum of all the numbers is 8. What about the minimum? So what is the minimum of all the numbers? You can select the min, select whatever number of cells you are searching for, and the moment you press enter, so the minimum is 1. Okay, so this is what you are getting. Now what's the next thing? So you can go for the minimum, you can go for the maximum, you can go for the average. Now let's discuss if we can round off some numbers. So this is specifically for the digits, right? Decimal digit. For example, if I'm having 3.14, this is the digit we are having. If I want to round off the value, what will happen? So I can go with is equals to round off this particular cell, is equals to enter too few arguments. Okay, so here you can see it is having two options: number which I want to round off and a number of digits. To how many digits I want to round it off? I want to round it off to, let's suppose, 1 digit. So I'm writing 1. So here you can see 3.14 round off to 1 digit will become 3.1. As simple as that, right? So this is the formula of round. One very special case here, if I'm changing the value here to 1.4123, this value will remain the same. The moment I change the value, for example, 4.13, so here you can see the value is now changed because the formula that I'm applying depends upon this particular cell. So whatever the value, if I'm changing the value on that particular cell, the formula reflecting on that particular cell will be changed as well. And this is why we are having this different value. If I want to round off to 2 digits, so here let's suppose if I'm going for 3.147 or 1437, enter, and the round off value after 2 digits is 3.14. Okay, similarly we are also having round up function. Okay, what will happen if you are using round up function? Let's see. So if I'm writing is equals to round up of this particular cell to 2 digits, this is 3.14, and similarly you are having round down as well. The moment you start realizing like how round down and round up works, the moment you see the result you will understand what do I mean to say. So if I'm writing round down, and here I'm selecting this particular cell and I want to round it down to 2 places. So here you can see for the same result, if I'm rounding them up, it will remove the decimal part. Remove the numbers after these many of decimals that we want, these many numbers that we want after decimal. In round up, what it will do, it will take the round value, but round up will increment the value by 1. For example, directly if I'm going for round function, the answer would be 3.14, but round up will increment the value to 1. So 3.14 plus 0.01 is 3.15. So this is why value is incremented towards up. Similarly, the value will be decremented towards down, which is 3.14. Okay, so this is how you can use them as well. One very important function we are having here is random as well, which will generate a random number within the range 0.0 to 1. So the moment I execute the function again and again and again, it will generate a random number. This will help you to generate a random number. We are going to use this as well as we proceed further. So this is how the things can be done. Now one very special thing here is, let's suppose if we are having these two numbers, okay. So if I want to find the sum of these two numbers, I can go with this. Okay, if I want to find the sum of all these numbers, I don't need to write the formula again. I can just take it and stretch it. And here you can see the value is now changed. If you see the formula as well, here the formula is C11 and D11. Here the formula is C12 and D12. Here the formula is C13 and D13. Automatically the formula changed. Right? This is how powerful these tools are. And this is why they are very widely used as well. Okay. Now, in the exact same way, we are also having a couple of functions. So let's do one thing. Let me remove a couple of things. Let me initialize it in terms of a table, and then we are going to perform some separate operations on it. Okay. And let me add some of these values as well. Here, let's add something like a couple of A's here. Okay. So we are having a couple of functions here. And those functions, let me paste it here. Okay. So the first function we are going to take is count. Okay. Count function will basically tell you the number of numeric values. So for example, if I'm passing count of all the cells here. So here you can see how many cells I have selected. I have selected 4 cells. Out of those 4 cells, how many cells are having any numeric number? There are 3 cells. This cell is empty. So that's why here you can see we are having empty cell. And that's why the answer is also 3, right? If I'm talking about count A. Okay, so if I'm talking about count A, count A is very special here. Count A will tell you the number of non-empty cells. Okay, so here you can see if I'm passing here is equals to count A of all these cells, the answer would be 3 again, because there are 3 non-empty cells here. Okay, count function will tell you number of numeric values. Count A will tell you number of empty cells, non-empty cells, sorry. So if you want, you are having a whole row where you are having some null values as well. You can count how many values are not null through count a function. As simple as that, right? And in the exact same way, we are also having a function called as countf. Okay, countf is a bit special. So in countf, we are having an option to select. Okay, so here I have selected, let's suppose 4 of them. Okay, so let me write it here, sorry. So this is for countf function. Okay, and here I'm going to write the formula is equals to countf. So in countf, we will define the range and the criteria. So let's suppose this is the range that I have defined. Okay, so out of this range, if I'm writing a comma here, and here I can write a condition. Okay, and in the condition, I can go with if the value that we are passing is greater than equals to 4. And the moment you enter, this will tell you how many values are there in this particular range which are more than or equal to 4. So there are two values, which is 4 and 7. Okay, let's suppose if I'm passing the value 25 here. Okay, and here I'm passing, if value is more than 20, I'm pressing enter. So here you can see we are having just one value which is more than 20. So this is also a functionality that we are having in basically Excel. So these are some of the basic functionalities we are discussing. Okay, now let's discuss about some of the values that we are having, some of the functionalities we are having for text. Okay, for text specifically, let's discuss it here on the board. Okay, so if I'm talking about concatenation, so for example, if I'm having two strings, in first cell I'm having the string Ashish. Okay, in the second cell I'm having another, right? So just treat it as one cell, just treat it as another cell. If you want to concatenate them, so we are having the function that will go something like this. We can concatenate this one. For example, if I'm writing, and everything should be there in double quotes. Okay, single quote don't work here. So if I'm writing Ashish and Jangra, so the resultant in that particular cell will be Ashish Jangra. Okay, so this is how it works. And the exact same way, rather than passing the text directly, you can even pass 3 characters. For example, you can pass another one which is S. So the answer would be Ashish Jangra S in the next cell. Okay, this is also how the things can be done. And the third part, as we have discussed as well, for other function, you can even pass a whole series. Like here I can pass from B5 to C5, whatever is there in those particular cell in between, it will concatenate everything. So concatenate can also be done in that particular way. Okay, so this is about the concatenation part. We are going to execute that as well. Now the next is left and right. So if you are writing here left, okay, in the left, if you are passing Ashish, now instead of Ashish, you can take the reference from the cell where it is having Ashish. And if I'm passing 3, it will take the left 3 cells. The left 3 cells from it, and the left 3 cells, the result will be ASH. So in this particular case, a result will be ASH, right? This is also something we are going to use if we are working on text cleaning and things like that. In the exact same way, we are also having right. So right of Ashish is to 3. The result would be ISH, the last 3 of them. Okay, in the exact same way, we are also having mid. So you can go with mid, and if I am writing Ashish of mid, and here we are having 2 values. First value is where I want to start, at which position I want to start. If I want to start from first position, so this is first position. Okay, this first position, this is second, this is third, this one is fourth, this one is fifth, this one is sixth. Where I want to start, I want to the first position. How many steps I want to take? I want to take 3 characters after that. So it will start from 1, it will take 3 characters after that. So 1, 2, 3. So the answer would be ASH again. Okay, so this is how it can be done. For example, if I'm writing Ashish 2, 4. So it will start from the second position, which is S. It will take HIS. So the answer would be in this particular case is SHIS. Right? So this is how this can also be implemented. Apart from that, we are also having something called as text split, and the text split basically will work something like this. For example, if I'm taking Ashish Jangra, right? So this is the text we are having. On this particular text, if I'm performing text split, so for the text split, here I want to pass through which I want to split it. So let's suppose I want to split it with a space. So here I can pass a space. Okay, and this is basically, there is an empty space here, so I am denoting it with this. So what we'll do, the resultant answer will be in one cell Ashish will be there, in another cell Jangra will be there. Okay, there will be the answer in 2 different cells because it is splitting them based on the text that we are writing. If you are splitting them based on H, so the answer would be AS, because through IS, then in the next cell we are going to have IS, then in the next cell you are going to have underscore JANGRA, because you are splitting it through H. So this would be the answer. So these are some of the functionalities you are having in terms of text as well. And the exact same thing you can try it by your own as well. Okay, I'll give you a link to this in the description on this particular sheet, and you can try that up. Okay, so for example, if I'm writing Ashish and Jangra, if you I'm writing like the concatenation, so here you can see we are having concatenate, and I am selecting this and this, and if you want to concatenate it, so here you can see concatenate B through and this. So here you can see answer is Ashish Jangra. Okay, now there is no space in between, so you can also write a space here, and here you can see the answer here is Ashish Jangra, right? In the exact same way, if I'm writing Ashish here and I want to uppercase it, I can write is equals to upper of this name, and here you can see answer is Ashish. Similarly, if I'm having Ashish written in this particular way and I want to lowercase it, I can write dot lower of this and it will lowercase it. Okay, if I'm writing the same name, if I want to perform the left operation on it, so here you can see is equals to left of this particular text of 3 characters, so left 3 characters are there. In the exact same way, if I'm going with is equals to right of this particular character of 3, here you can see ISH is the answer. In the exact same way, we can go with is equals to mid, and in the mid, for this particular cell, I will start from first character, I'll take 3 characters, so the answer is ISH. This is something that we have discussed as well. In the same way, you can use test list and other functionalities in this. Okay, now the last thing we are going to discuss is operators and conditions. Okay, so in the operators, the things will go something like this. So for example, if I am passing the number here, for example, these are all the, this is the data that we are having. So this is the data that we are having. Let's suppose these are the names. Okay, this is the first name, this is the last name, and this is the age we are having. So I want to find if this particular person is eligible for voting or not. Let's add one more person, for example, Laksh. She is just 17-year-old. Okay, so here I want to check if the person is eligible for voting or not. Here I want the answer in just true and false. If the value is more than 18, that is true. If the value is less than 18, that's not true. Or yes, this is how it goes. So what I can do in this particular case, I need to write an if condition, right? And here it will go something like this. If, and the moment I write if, there are 3 things I need to pass. First is the logical condition, right? And here the condition would be if this particular cell, for this particular cell, the value is greater than equals to 18 or not. Okay, if the value is greater than equals to 18, if that condition is true, I'll write here the person is eligible. Otherwise, if the condition is false, the person will be not eligible. Simple, bracket close, enter. Here you can see for this particular case, the person is eligible. If I'm selecting, dragging and dropping it here, so here you can see these 2 people are eligible. This is not eligible, right? So because this is not eligible, directly from here I can see the person is eligible or not. Let's suppose we are having another person. For example, we are having Gokul and his age is, let's suppose, 150 years old. Now I know there's no one who can have an age of 120, 150. Or in another word, let's suppose I'm having one more condition where we are having a person, let's say God, right, was having negative age, let's suppose 10. So in this particular case, if I'm selecting, dragging and dropping them, in this particular case, both of them are not eligible. But they are not just not eligible, but they have entered an invalid age. In this particular case, I need to check if the age is invalid or not, right? So here I need to write like valid. I'm writing one more column which is valid. So in is valid, I'm going to check if the age that we are writing is within a specific range or not. And within a specific range means the age should be more than 0, less than 100, right? So here I'll check if the age means this particular age is, and for that purpose I write if is equals to if this particular age is greater than 0, and we are also having an option to use and here, right? And here it will go in both the case, if and of this. Okay, let's go with and first of all. Okay, so is equals to and here it will go this age is greater than 0, and because here I need to write 2 conditions, and the second is the same cell is less than 100 age. So the moment I click enter, this will give you true or false. So here you can see in this particular case, or in the first three cases, the age is true because the value is more than 0 and less than 100, right? And in this particular case, it is true. So basically, we are having a set of all the values from 0 to positive infinity to negative infinity, right? And here we are having, let's suppose something 0. So I'm excluding all of them because they are invalid age, right? And from 0 to 100, these are all only valid age. And this is also not valid. Okay. And if I'm just zooming this a little bit and from 0 to 100, okay, just from 0 to 18, if I'm taking, they are not eligible. Okay. And 18 to 100 is eligible. Okay. So we are having two not valid ages. If someone is having negative age or age more than 100, they are invalid. And if the age is in the valid range, then we are going to check if the person is eligible or not. Okay. So now we are going to connect all the dots here. So here I'll go if, and here I'm going to take AND operation. So here you can see if, and here I'm going to take and the AND I'm taking of this particular case is greater than 0 and this particular cell is less than 100. Okay. So here I am passing a condition. This is a condition inside if statement. If this condition is true, then I'm going to write some other condition here. Like if it is true, then I'll do this, which is because if this is true, the person is eligible. And that too I need to write within double quote. So here I'm writing eligible. And here otherwise it's not eligible. So here you can see this particular case, it's eligible and not eligible. This is the same case it is writing. Okay. Now, at the meantime, let's suppose I want to write one more condition here. And in that particular condition, I want to check if this particular person, because here only these three cases are eligible. So based on that, you can even sort them ahead. So there is one more practice problem I want to give it to you. Okay. After this session. So this is basically it. I'm going to summarize it after that. Okay. And the practice problem is how you can implement the if-else condition, basically. So in the if condition here, first of all, I write the condition. Then if the condition is true, what will happen? If the condition is false, what will happen? In this particular case, we have written a condition, and in the condition, it can be one condition or multiple condition inside AND or OR. Here, first of all, we have written a condition of AND. For example, AND, the A should be greater than 0 and A should be less than 100. So this whole thing I am passing inside this. So this will return you only true and false. If the condition is true, so this thing will be implemented. If this condition is false, this will be implemented. If this is true, here I'll pass eligible. If it is false, I'll pass not eligible. If this is true, I can even go inside it. Okay, and pass another condition. This will go something like this. Okay, the nested part. So here I'm going to check if, and here I'm going to write the first condition to check if the person is eligible or not. And for the eligible, here I'm checking just to let you know, this is the pseudo code. This will not be working here. And here I'm checking the age is between 0 to 100 or not. If the age is between 0 to 100, this is the condition I'm writing. Okay, if this condition is true, I'll write another condition here. And in that particular condition, I'll write another if. In this particular if, I write a condition here. And that condition is if the age is more than 80 or not, right? So if the age is more than 18. Now for this particular case, only for this particular case, this particular if condition, if the age is more than 18, if that is true, the person is eligible, right? If this is not true, the person is not eligible, right? If I'm talking about just this particular loop, if the age is more than 18, the person is eligible, otherwise it's not eligible. But we will go inside this particular condition only if this condition is true. If this condition is true, I'll do this. If this condition is not true, if there is an invalid age, for example, this will not be executing if the age is, let's suppose, -5 or 120. In that particular case, here I am going to write after that, it's not a valid age. Okay, so this is a nested condition. And if condition, this particular if condition is inside another condition. So make sure to practice it by yourself. Okay, so to summarize whatever we have done so far in this particular session, we have started with interface. What is the basic interface of Excel? Okay, as we dig deeper in the upcoming lecture, we are going to take a data set. We are going to work on that data set. We'll discuss about different functionalities we are having on Excel, and we'll see if you get some time. We are also going to discuss about data visualization with the same. Okay, how to handle null value. There are a lot of things we are having. But just for the basic understanding how formulas work, how cell works, how you can replicate the codes and replicate the data, this is how it's being done. So we are starting with the text formatting, how the text can be written, how the text can be formatted. The text is there that is aligned towards the left, and the number is automatically aligned towards the right. You can replicate it by selecting and dragging and dropping them. You can add the formulas, for example, sum, average, min, max. And after that, we have discussed about round function, round up, round down. We have discussed about how to generate random numbers. We have discussed about how to count the number of integers, the number of numeric values, the number of non-empty values. We have discussed about COUNTIF as well, how we can count anything with a specific condition. If the value is more than 25, how many people are there with the age more than 25? How many people are there who have entered an invalid age? How many people are there who are having a valid age? Or how many people are there who are not eligible? So these are the cases you can easily find with the COUNTIF. We have discussed about some text functions, for example, how to uppercase it, how to concatenate, how to split it, how to find the specific value towards the left, from the right, from the middle. So these are the things we have done as well. After that, we have discussed about some operations. We have discussed about and in the same way we are having OR as well. That's something in detail we are going to discuss in Python. And an OR basically is having a difference, like you must have heard it earlier as well. So there are two things, right? So the first time, if I'm having and OR, so in and OR, if both the conditions are true, then this will be true. If this condition is true, this is false, the answer will be false. Same false true will be false, and similarly false and false will be false. But if I'm talking about OR, so true true will be true, true false will be true, false true will be true, and false false will be false. Okay, so this and this, if both the conditions are true, only then the resultant will be true. So these are the condition. I can pass it inside the loop and you will get the final result. So similarly, we are also having an option of not. Sorted. So we are having and, or, and not. So these are something you can try it by yourself. There are a lot of practice problems that are already available on there. The code that we have written, this particular sheet, I'm going to share it with you. You can get it from the link in the description. And because this is a part of the series of 390, so make sure to check the page. And there are a lot of amazing courses available. And this is one of the kind of opportunity that we are having. Just complete 90% of the course in 90 days and you will get 90% of the money back. If you like this session, make sure to write it in the comments. If you're having anything to share, make sure to write in the comments. We'll be more than happy to answer your queries. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next session. Thank you. Bye.